She threw a paternity test at me. I'm pregnant. The baby is yours. The bubble tea in her hand crashed to the floor. Yesterday, I was a business titan worth 10 billion yuan. Today, I had just started my first delivery. Surprise fatherhood was crazier than rebirth after a car crash. I stood outside her door. Are you the delivery rider named Li Chuan? A cool, commanding female voice came from behind the door. I adjusted my helmet. I nodded eagerly. Yes, yes. Here is your bubble tea. I'm pregnant. Oh, congratulations. It's yours. The bubble tea fell from my hand and hit the floor. Tea splashed all over my pant leg, leaving me sticky and humiliated. My head buzzed. Ma'am, bubble tea can't do that. How about a lemonade instead? They say sour cravings mean a boy, spicy one's a girl. The door swung fully open. The woman wore a silk robe. She was tall and slender, with exquisite but icy features. She gave a cold laugh, then threw me a paternity test. Stop pretending. My child needs a father, and you're the man I chose. Starting today, you'll move into my house. You'll be my child's father. You'll marry into the Gu family. I held a thin sheet of paper. The 99.99% printed on it stung my eyes. My name is Li Chuan. 3 days ago, I was a business titan worth 10 billion yuan. A carefully planned car crash got me killed by my most trusted men. When I woke up, I was this unlucky man with the same name, a 24-year-old live-in son-in-law and delivery rider. He lived worse than a dog in his wife's home. The woman before me was Gu Qinghan, Viking's famed ice school CEO. There was no affection in her eyes, only cold scrutiny and calculation. I understood. She was putting on a show and needed a pawn. I smiled. Heaven really loved playing jokes on me. I'd barely escaped one wolf den, only to be thrown into a tiger's lair. But I had never feared tigers. I looked at her. I dropped that pathetic, groveling act. I'll live at your place, but I have one condition. Gu Qinghan raised an eyebrow. She hadn't expected a delivery rider to bargain with her. Speak. First, I need a divorce. I rode my beat-up electric scooter back to the Liu home. The moment I opened the door, a pillow came flying at my face. My mother-in-law, Liu Zhu, stood with her hands on her hips, with spittle flying everywhere. Li Chuan, where the hell have you been? You come home this late, and where's dinner? Are you trying to starve us to death? My wife, Liu Ruyan, sat on the sofa browsing luxury shopping sites, without even looking up. Mom, why get worked up over a useless loser? Make him cook. I'm hungry. I looked at the mother and daughter. Memories of the past 3 years surged through me. In this house, the original Li Chuan had been a free servant, a punching bag for their frustrations. Every cent he earned had to be handed over. Yet all he got in return were endless beatings, scolding, and humiliation. I tossed my scooter keys onto the coffee table, making a sharp clatter. Dinner's in the pot. Serve yourselves. Liu Zhu froze, then flew into a rage. You pathetic loser. How dare you talk back? Are you begging for a beating? As she spoke, she reached for my ear. I dodged, my gaze turning cold. Keep your hands to yourself. My response made Liu Zhu freeze. She looked at me as if I were a stranger. Liu Ruyan finally looked up from her phone, frowning. Li Chuan, what pills did you take? How dare you speak to my mother like that? I pulled out a chair and sat down. I took a sheet of paper from my pocket and pushed it toward her. Liu Ruyan, let's get divorced. Those 3 words plunged the living room into dead silence. Liu Ruyan picked up the crumpled paper. It was a handwritten divorce agreement. She suddenly burst into shrill laughter. Divorce? Li Chuan, have you lost your mind? You're just a pathetic delivery rider. Without me, will you be sleeping on the streets? Liu Zhu snapped out of it too, pointing at my nose as she cursed me out. You ungrateful bastard. Our Liu family kept you for 3 years. Now, you think you've grown wings and can fly away. Not a chance. Not unless you repay every cent we spent on you for 3 years. 500,000 yuan. Not 1 cent less. I looked at their greedy, ugly faces, and found them ridiculous. 500,000. You think you deserve it. Every yuan I made delivering food these past 3 years, I handed all of it over to you. I lived in that storage room, ate your leftovers, and wore dirt cheap clothes I'd bought for next to nothing. If we're settling accounts, you're the ones who owe me. Liu Ruyan trembled with fury. Li Chuan, don't push your luck. You shamelessly begged to marry into the Liu family. I rose to my feet and looked down at her. Then let me show you what real shamelessness looks like. I took out my phone and opened a video. In the video, Liu Ruyan clung to a sleazy middle-aged man, behaving intimately with him. Mr. Zhang, when are you divorcing your wife? I can't wait to become Mrs. Zhang. All color drained from Liu Ruyan's face. You followed me? No need. I put my phone away. Yesterday, I delivered food to Mr. Zhang. He was bragging to his friends about how eager and easy to fool you were. Liu Zhu was stunned too. She lunged for my phone, but I easily shoved her away. Li Chuan, you vile little rat. How dare you ruin my daughter? I looked at them coldly. Leave with nothing, and I'll pretend none of this happened. Otherwise, this video will be in your neighborhood group chat by tomorrow. Liu Ruyan bit her lip hard. Tears welled in her eyes. but they weren't from sorrow. They were filled with venom. She knew I would do it. At last, she grabbed the pen and viciously signed her name on the divorce agreement. Li Chuan, you'll regret this. For the rest of your life, you'll only be a lousy delivery rider. You'll come crawling back and beg me. I picked up the agreement and walked toward the door without looking back. Don't worry. Even if I die, I'll never set foot in this house again. After leaving that rundown apartment building, I looked up at the sky. The night was dark, but the stars shone brightly. The Li Chuan of the Liu family was dead. From today on, I was simply Li Chuan, a delivery rider preparing to marry into a family for the second time. Li Chuan, the delivery rider. Gu Qinghan's villa stood in Biking's most exclusive neighborhood, Yunding Manor. The guard saw me on my beat-up electric scooter, with bubble tea stains still on my clothes, and his eyes filled with contempt. Stop. What are you doing here? I called Gu Qinghan. It rang for a long time before she answered. Her voice was as cold as ever. What is it? I'm at the gate. The guard won't let me in. Wait. She hung up. I leaned against my scooter and waited a full 20 minutes. A black Bentley slowly drove over. It stopped in front of me, and the window rolled down. Gu Qinghan's expressionless face appeared. She said something to the guard booth, and the barrier slowly lifted. Get in, she ordered. I didn't move. What about my ride? I pointed at my little electric scooter. Gu Qinghan's brows furrowed, as though she were looking at an unreasonable idiot. Throw it away. No. It's how I make a living. The air froze. The driver and the bodyguard in the front passenger seat both stared at me as if I were a monster. Apparently, no one had ever dared to fight Gu Qinghan like this. In the end, Gu Qinghan took a deep breath, as if it took all her strength. Let it follow us. And so, a strange sight unfolded at Yunding Manor. A Bentley worth tens of millions of yuan cruised slowly ahead, followed by a battered electric scooter, its motor buzzing in protest. The villa was absurdly huge. Its decor was just like its owner, cold and severe, without a trace of lived-in warmth. A middle-aged man in a butler's uniform came to greet us. Welcome home, miss. Gu Qinghan gave a faint hum, tossed him her bag, and headed straight for the sofa. Uncle Li, arrange a room for him. Uncle Li looked me over, his eyes unable to hide his shock and disdain. Yes, miss. Gu Qinghan sat down and crossed her legs. She tossed a document onto the coffee table. Sign it. It was a contract marriage agreement. The terms were clear and meticulously structured, just what you'd expect from the CEO of a 100 billion yuan conglomerate. Party A, Gu Qinghan. Party B, Li Chuan. Its main terms were, I, Li Chuan, as the child's father, was to help Gu Qinghan pretend we were a loving couple until the child was safely born and the inheritance secured. In return, Gu Qinghan would pay me 10 million yuan, then make me disappear once it was done. I almost laughed. In my previous life, I steered the capital markets with more than 10 billion yuan. Now I was selling myself for only 10 million yuan. What? Think it's too little? Seeing that I still wouldn't sign. Gu Qinghan's voice turned even colder. It's enough. A few terms just need changing. I picked up a pen. For example, the clause stating Party B must obey Party A unconditionally, and every arrangement has to go. Also, during the contract term, Party B must not interfere in Party A's personal affairs. Add that Party A may not interfere in Party B's affairs either. And most importantly, the payment. Gu Qinghan's glare could have killed. 10 million isn't enough for a delivery rider to live on for life. I shook my head. I crossed out 10 million yuan in the payment section, then wrote 3 words. Gu Group shares, 1%. Bang. Gu Qinghan slammed her palm on the table. She shot to her feet. Li Chuan, don't push your luck. I met her gaze without fear. President Gu, you've got this wrong. You're the one who needs me now, not the other way around. You chose me because I have no background. I'm a live-in son-in-law, and I'm easy to control. But you've forgotten how dangerous a man with nothing to lose can be. 1% of the shares, in exchange for securing your seat at Gu Group. You're getting the better end of this deal. We stared each other down. The air crackled with tension. I clearly saw the struggle and fury in her eyes, and a flicker of panic because I'd struck the truth. She needed an absolute ally, someone who could help her stand against her family, a shield against those wolves and vultures. And I happened to need a stepping stone, a chance to get close to the enemy from my previous life. That enemy was her greatest rival, her cousin Huwei. After a long moment, Gu Qinghan sat down again. Why should I trust you? Because you have no other choice. I handed her the pen. And because I can help you get everything you want. Early the next morning, Uncle Li woke me. Mr. Li, Miss wants you to change and accompany her to the office. The walk-in closet was filled with brand new custom menswear. Every piece was worth a fortune. I glanced over them, but in the end, from my luggage, I took out my yellow delivery uniform. When I appeared in the dining room wearing it, Gu Qinghan's hand visibly trembled as she drank her coffee. Why are you wearing that? Going to work. I casually picked up a slice of toast. I'm a dedicated delivery rider. Gu Qinghan's face darkened like thunderclouds. Starting today, you don't need to deliver food anymore. No, Everyone needs their own career, I said with perfect seriousness. I want everyone to know that the man Gu Qinghan chose is a delivery rider that fits the role of a shield and won't put Hu Wei on guard. Gu Qinghan must have realized that too. In the end, she said nothing more. Her expression only grew darker. Gu Group's headquarters was a biking landmark. I rode my electric scooter behind the Bentley, under the stunned stares of the company's executives, and parked in the CEO's private space. "Good morning, President Gu." The employees greeted her. Then they stole strange, intensely curious glances at me. I remained perfectly at ease. I even smiled at them. "Hello, everyone. I'm new here. Please take care of me." Only Gu Qinghan and I were in the elevator. Feeling proud, she asked coldly. "Not bad. It's the first time so many people have watched me. It's a little exciting." The elevator doors opened with a chime. We had arrived at the CEO's office. A man in a business suit with a refined, gentle appearance was waiting outside. "Qinghan, you're here." He froze when he saw me, but quickly recovered his smile. "And this is my husband, Li Chuan." Gu Qinghan's tone was flat. "Hello. I'm Hu Wei, Gu Qinghan's cousin, and the company's vice president." He extended his hand, wearing a warm smile. I looked at him and smiled too. That face, my most trusted partner in my previous life. He was the one who personally sent me to my death. I reached out and shook his hand. "Hello. I'm a delivery rider." Hu Wei's smile froze. I caught the flash of contempt and relief in his eyes. Perfect. The game had only just begun. The moment Gu Qinghan entered her office, she immersed herself in work, completely ignoring me. Glad for the peace, I took out my phone and watched short videos. Before long, there was a knock at the office door. Gu Qinghan's secretary, a young woman named Yawei, came in carrying coffee. "President Gu, Vice President Hu asked me to bring you this document for review. It's the redevelopment plan for Tianhai Plaza on Biking's west side." Gu Qinghan took the document, her frown deepening as she read. I pricked up my ears. Tianhai Plaza was one of Gu Group's long-established malls. Its performance had plummeted over the past 2 years, making it Gu Group's biggest headache. The same tired ideas, just repackaged. Gu Qinghan threw the proposal onto the desk, her voice full of exhaustion. None of the executives had a solution. "Someone on the board has already suggested selling the mall," Yawei said quietly. "That was my grandfather's life's work, left to my mother." A trace of helplessness seeped into Gu Qinghan's voice. With my legs crossed, I blurted out, "Anyone who goes to that dump is an idiot." The office fell silent. Gu Qinghan and Yawei stared at me like I was an alien. "What did you say?" Gu Qinghan asked. "I said that mall deserves to go under." I put down my phone, stood, and walked to the massive floor-to-ceiling window. From there, I could see Tianhai Plaza's rooftop in the distance. You leave the subway station, then have to walk 10 minutes under the blazing sun to reach the entrance. Who would put up with that? The perfume at the entrance smells as cheap as air freshener, enough to give you a headache. The music on the first floor is always from the last century. Even my mother wouldn't listen to it. All the restaurants are on the top floor. You have to climb 5 floors just to buy a bubble tea. Are they trying to wear people out? With every word, Gu Qinghan's expression changed. Yawei's mouth fell open. She wanted to argue, but didn't know where to begin. "You're just a delivery rider. What do you know about business operations?" Gu Qinghan's voice carried restrained anger. "I may not know business, but I know this. When I deliver food there, 8 times out of 10, customers complain they can't find the place. I know the business is there. Whine in the group chat every day, saying hardly anyone comes in all day. I only know that other than making deliveries. I never want to set foot in that hellhole." I shrugged. Then I sat back on the sofa and kept scrolling. Nonsense. Gu Qinghan snapped under her breath, yet picked up the proposal she'd rejected, reading it again and again. That afternoon, I was about to leave early to make a few deliveries, when Gu Qinghan suddenly stopped me. "Where are you going?" "To earn money and support you, my CEO wife." She ignored my teasing and tossed a file at me. "These are Tianhai Plaza's internal materials. Take a look." I froze. "Ma'am, I'm illiterate. I can't read this gibberish." "If you can't read it, think." Gu Qinghan's tone brooked no argument. "If you can't figure it out, no dinner." I stared at her. This woman really saw me as a tool. Fine. I picked up the thick stack of documents and pretended to flip through it. Half an hour later, I tossed the file back onto her desk. "I've got it. It's simple. From the subway exit to the mall entrance, build a covered glass walkway. It'll block the sun in summer and wind in winter. Get rid of the entrance perfume. Put in a coffee shop and let the aroma drift outside. Change the first floor music to today's hottest pop songs to attract young people. Spread the restaurants out. Put food areas on every floor. People can eat whenever they want. Finally, and most importantly," I paused, "get every tenant business to hold a delivery festival together. Offer huge discounts on qualifying orders. Build up online buzz first. People follow the crowd. Once they see deliveries booming, they'll naturally want to visit in person." When I finished, Gu Qinghan said nothing for a long time. For the first time, her eyes held something beyond coldness. Shock, scrutiny, deep suspicion for Tianhai Plaza's redevelopment plan. Gu Qinghan overruled all objections and adopted my so-called nonsense almost word for word. At the board meeting, Hu Wei was the first to object. Qinghan, this is madness. You're pinning your hopes on a delivery rider's ravings. What do you take this group for? This is my decision as CEO. If anything goes wrong, I'll take full responsibility. Gu Qinghan was unyielding, but 1 month later, everyone waiting to laugh at her was proven completely wrong. Tianhai Plaza came back to life. The glass walkway became a viral hotspot. Delivery orders surged, and sent-in-person foot traffic soaring to 3 times its former level. That month's mall profits went from losses to record-breaking gains. Gu Group was in an uproar. Everyone praised President Gu's sharp vision and boldness. Only Gu Qinghan knew that all of it came from the man who wore a delivery uniform all day and played games in her office. The way she looked at me grew increasingly strange. Yet every day, I still rode my electric scooter through biking streets and alleys. Being a delivery rider was the perfect cover. It let me meet every kind of person in the city and hear the most first-hand information. One day, I accepted an order to deliver afternoon tea to an investment firm. While waiting for the elevator, I overheard 2 employees talking. Did you hear? Vice President who has been meeting with that overseas firm? Blackstone Capital. Sounds like they're about to sign a huge deal. Blackstone Capital? Aren't they notorious for bleeding companies dry? They drove several companies under before, using traps hidden in contracts. Who knows? How could we understand Vice President Hu's methods? My heart stirred. I dealt with Blackstone Capital in my previous life. I knew exactly what they were. They were no legitimate investment firm. They specialized in setting traps, using toxic assets and contract loopholes to swallow their targets like financial vultures. Hu Wei was dealing with them. The target was obvious. Gu Qinghan's shares. That night, I returned to the villa. Gu Qinghan was reviewing documents in the study. On her desk lay a contract bearing Blackstone Capital's logo. You look happy. I leaned against the doorframe. Hu Wei secured an overseas contract. It will benefit the company's future. She didn't even look up. Really? I think he was grinning like a cat that got the cream. Gu Qinghan finally looked up, frowning at me. Li Chuan, mind your own business. I knew she suspected me now, but toward her cousin Hu Wei, she still held on to a sliver of familial trust. Unless she witnessed his betrayal herself, she would never let go. I said no more and went into the kitchen. Soon, I came out carrying a steaming bowl of chicken soup. President Gu, you're pregnant. You've worked hard. Have some soup. I set the soup on her desk, just as she picked up her pen to sign. My hand slipped. The entire bowl of chicken soup spilled directly over the contract's most crucial page. The greasy broth instantly soaked through the paper, blurring the words beyond recognition. Oh no, I cried. I frantically grabbed tissues to wipe it up, but only smeared it worse. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. My face was full of panic, but inwardly, I sneered. Gu Qinghan's face twisted with rage. She glared at me, her chest heaving violently, like a volcano about to erupt. This gibberish makes my head spin. How about I pay for another copy? In an absurdly amateurish tone, I cautiously suggested it. The silence was terrifying. I could even hear her grinding her teeth. Just when I thought she was about to lunge at me and kill me, she suddenly called her secretary. Yahweh, tell Blackstone Capital to send another contract. I want both digital and paper copies. Also, the entire legal department works overtime. Review every word and every punctuation mark in the new contract. Now, immediately, after hanging up, she looked at me. Her gaze was impossibly complex. You'd better have done that by accident. I blinked innocently. What else could it be? The next day, the legal department uncovered a trap in the contract. In an inconspicuous additional clause was a deadly performance-based buyout clause, once signed within 3 months. If Gu Group stock failed to reach a set high, Blackstone Capital could purchase at a dirt cheap price 20% of Gu Qinghan's shares, and Hu Wei had led them into this trap. Gu Qinghan remained in her office, sitting there numbly all afternoon. I didn't disturb her. Some betrayals must be processed alone. At dusk, I rode my scooter home, but at the villa entrance, I saw the 2 people I least wanted to see. Ruyan and Liu Zhu. They were dressed to the nines. The moment they saw me, their faces filled with scorn and glee. Well, if it isn't Li Chuan. So, you really are delivering food? Liu Zhu said mockingly. Liu Ruyan folded her arms, looking me up and down as if I were trash. Li Chuan, I didn't expect you to have it in you. After leaving me, you actually found a rich woman to keep you. What? Are you a security guard here? I couldn't be bothered with them. What are you doing here? We're here to see your wife. Liu Zhu lifted her chin. You're just some kept boy. So what right do you have to live in a place like this? We're going to tell that rich woman what kind of trash you really are, so she'll throw you out. So they were here to tattle. I smiled. Fine, go tell her. I had been waiting for a chance to make this mother and daughter give up for good. I rang the doorbell. Uncle Li opened the door and saw Liu Ruyan and her daughter. He paused. And these 2 are my ex-wife and ex-mother-in-law. I introduced them. They say they urgently need to see President Gu. Liu Ruyan and Liu Zhu strutted inside. The moment they entered the living room, the lavish decor left them speechless. Gu Qinghan was coming downstairs. She frowned when she saw them. Who are you? Liu Zhu instantly put on a heartbroken expression. Miss Gu, right? This man has deceived you. He is a complete loser. Good for nothing but living off women. Liu Ruyan chimed in. Exactly. He is a liar. Don't believe him. He only wants your money. The two of them took turns, painting me as utterly worthless. Gu Qinghan said nothing, simply listening in silence. Finally, she turned her eyes to me. Is what they said true? I spread my hands. Half true, half not. I'm a loser, sure. But wanting your money, that part is wrong. I walked up to Liu Ruyan. Then I smiled. Liu Ruyan, your President Zhang. Has he been treating you well lately? Liu Ruyan's face stiffened. What business is it of yours? President Zhang treats me wonderfully. He's about to buy me a mansion and a sports car. Is that so? I took out my phone. I opened a news app and held it before her. Do you mean the President Zhang who was arrested today after illegally raising funds and running up debts of hundreds of millions and was taken away by police this afternoon? The headline showed that sleazy man's humiliating photo in handcuffs. Liu Ruyan's eyes went wide. She snatched the phone and checked again and again. No. Impossible. This can't be. Liu Zhu leaned over to look too. The second she saw it, her legs gave out and she collapsed onto the floor. My God. The 2 million our family invested. I took back my phone and said calmly, I forgot to tell you. I delivered food to the financial crimes unit this afternoon and happened to run into him. President Zhang even asked me to pass on a message. He said, thank your family of idiots for funding his final escape. Thud. Liu Zhu rolled her eyes back and fainted from rage. Liu Ruyan clutched her head and let out a scream of despair. The entire living room was in chaos. Gu Qinghan no longer looked at me with suspicion, but with an almost fearful curiosity. She must have been wondering who I really was, why I always appeared at the most crucial moments, and knew the most vital information. I grinned at her, flashing white teeth. I told you I could help you get everything you want. Naturally, I can solve all your problems too. The Liu family went completely bankrupt. Their house was mortgaged, and their savings were swindled away. Liu Zhu suffered a stroke and was hospitalized. Liu Ruyan was buried under debt. She could only wait tables at a restaurant. They had no energy left to cause me trouble. And Gu Qinghan and I settled into a strange kind of peace. She stopped questioning my past. Instead, each day, she would casually place the company's problems before me, and I was happy to use a delivery driver's street smarts to resolve them one by one. We were like two master opponents playing chess. Neither of us said it aloud. Yet through our silent clashes, we forged the strongest alliance. Until the day of Hu Wei's birthday banquet. You have to come with me. Gu Qinghan's tone allowed no argument. That's a trap, I said. I know. She looked at me. But I have to go. It's family tradition. Every core family member must attend. Besides, I need a reason, in front of everyone, to break with him completely. I understood. The contract incident had shown her Hu Wei's true colors. She was ready to strike back. Fine. But you follow my lead. The birthday banquet was held at the Gu family estate. The estate was alive with music, dancing, and celebration. As the guest of honor, Hu Wei was brimming with pride, accepting everyone's praise. When he saw Gu Qinghan and me arrive together, a vicious glint flashed in his eyes, but his flawless smile quickly hid it. Brother-in-law, sis. You're here. He approached with a glass in hand. Brother-in-law, you've worked hard lately. I hear the Tianhai Plaza miracle was all thanks to you. His words dripped with barbs, and those around us watched eagerly for a show. I smiled and took the drink he offered. Not at all. I'm only a delivery driver. That's nonsense. President Gu deserves the credit for making even crazy ideas come true. With those few words, I gave all the credit back to Gu Qinghan and flaunted our affection in the process. Hu Wei's face darkened. Halfway through the banquet, I found an excuse to go to the restroom. At the corner of the corridor, I saw Hu Wei whispering to a waiter. He slipped something into the man's hand. I hid in the shadows. After they left, I followed the waiter. In the storage room, I found a small vial the waiter had tossed away. Just as I suspected, Hu Wei was trying his old trick again. I returned to the banquet hall and casually sat beside Gu Qinghan. A while later, the waiter came over carrying a fresh tray of champagne. He headed straight for Gu Qinghan. President Gu, this non-alcoholic champagne was specially prepared for you. Gu Qinghan reached out to take it. When I suddenly coughed loudly, my hand flew up and knocked into the waiter's tray. Crash! More than a dozen glasses of champagne fell and shattered across the floor. One glass splashed directly onto a nearby socialite's pure white evening gown. The room instantly erupted into chaos. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I hurriedly apologized, looking as clumsy as possible. The socialite shrieked in fury. Hu Wei's face turned black as coal. Using the chaos, I grabbed Gu Qinghan and headed out. Come on. This place is bad luck. Once we were in the car, Gu Qinghan finally came to her senses. You did that on purpose again. What else Wait until he drugs you, takes photos, and tomorrow you'll be the leading lady in Biking's biggest scandal. Gu Qinghan went rigid. She stared at me, her lips trembling. He would really dare. Not only would he dare, he's done it before. I tossed her the small vial. Find out what this drug is. See if, a year ago, there was a young man also named Li Chuan, who died in an accident for similar reasons. The temperature in the car seemed to plunge to freezing. Gu Qinghan gripped the vial tightly. At last, she understood. She wasn't facing a cousin merely fighting for power, but a ruthless monster, a murderer. Gu Qinghan had immense influence. In just one day, she uncovered everything. She found the doctor who Wei had bribed and obtained proof of the forged accidental death report. She found the traffic officer who handled my car crash in my previous life and learned every camera at the scene had failed at the crucial moment. She even discovered that before I died in my previous life, I had gone to Tianhai Plaza. And that day, Hu Wei was there, secretly meeting with Blackstone Capital representatives. I was silenced because I had accidentally uncovered their scheme, and they killed me to keep me quiet. Every link in the evidence chain pointed to Hu Wei. In the study, Gu Qinghan slammed a thick stack of documents onto the desk. Her entire body was shaking, not from fear, but rage. Absolute rage. I want him dead. She spoke each word slowly, her voice laced with bone-deep cold. This alone isn't enough to get him killed. I pointed out calmly. This evidence would only get him a few years in prison. The people behind him would soon get him out. Then what do you suggest? For the first time, she lost control in front of me, like a lioness driven into a corner. I want to tear them out by the roots. I looked at her and slowly laid out my plan. A plan to turn his scheme against him and lure the snake from its nest. One that would leave Hu Wei and everyone behind him unable to ever rise again. After hearing me out, Gu Qinghan stared at me for a long time. Li Chuan, who are you really? It was the 99th time she had asked me that. I smiled. I am the father of your child, a man who wants to clear every obstacle out of the way for you and our child. For the first time, her gaze softened. At the Gu Group's annual shareholders meeting, the tension was drawn as tight as a bowstring. Hu Wei had joined forces with several directors, citing the president's poor decisions and improper conduct. They moved to remove her. The evidence he produced included a copy of our contract marriage agreement, along with photos of me beating up my former mother-in-law. Directors, to keep her position, my sister, went so far as to enter a fake marriage with a delivery driver, deceiving the entire family. She even lets this man cause trouble outside. How can someone like her lead the Gu Group into the future? Hu Wei spoke with theatrical grief and righteous anguish. The directors supporting him quickly chimed in. Gu Qinghan sat at the head of the table, expressionless and silent, just as Hu Wei thought victory was in his grasp and prepared to call for a vote. The meeting room doors opened. I walked in wearing a yellow delivery uniform, carrying a delivery box. Everyone froze. Sorry to interrupt, but which one of you is Mr. Hu Wei? Hu Wei's face instantly turned dark red. Li Chuan, what are you doing here? Get out. Easy. I took a document from my delivery box and set it before him. Your delivery. A death certificate. Please sign for it. I clapped, and the large screen in the meeting room lit up. A video began to play. It showed Hu Wei bribing a doctor and ordering someone to stage a car accident and conspiring with Blackstone Capital's representative. The recordings and footage were irrefutable. Hu Wei's face went deathly pale. Fake. It is all fake. You fabricated it. He roared hysterically. I smiled. Then take a look at who this is. A familiar face appeared on the screen. It was the trusted subordinate from my previous life. The man who personally drugged me and sent me to that fatal car crash. He was speaking with Hu Wei on the phone. That idiot Li Chuan is dead. As planned, all the overseas assets in his name will pass through several offshore companies and end up in our accounts. Hu Wei stared at the screen as if he had seen a ghost. He staggered back step by step, then collapsed into a chair. He was finished. He knew he was utterly finished. He glared at me fiercely, his eyes full of venom and resentment. What gives a delivery driver like you the right? Li Chuan, the real Li Chuan, was my only rival. Too bad he is dead. He died long ago. The entire meeting room fell deathly silent. Everyone was overwhelmed by this earth-shattering revelation, leaving them utterly stunned. I walked up to Hu Wei, whose face was ashen. Bending slightly, I smiled brightly. You are right. Li Chuan is dead. But now, my name is Li Chuan too. I pointed at Gu Qinghan. I'm not just your cousin's husband. Then I pointed to the original Li Chuan's photo on the screen. I am also the Li Chuan you killed with your own hands. Finally, I pointed to myself. My voice dropped to a near whisper, yet it carried clearly through the entire room. Oh, and I am also the Li Chuan you fear most. Surprised, did you see that coming? Hu Wei's pupils suddenly contracted, then completely lost focus. He went insane under the crushing weight of those three identities. His mental defenses were utterly shattered by me. Hu Wei was brought to justice. Every force behind him was uprooted by Li Chuan's ruthless methods. Overnight, they vanished completely from Biking. I naturally took over Huawei's shares, and, while operating under Li Chuan's hidden identity, consolidated the business empire from my previous life. I became the true king behind the Gu Group. The storm at that shareholders' meeting became Biking's business world's greatest mystery. Everyone only knew that the ice-cold chief executive, Gu Qinghan, had an unfathomable delivery driver husband at her side. He never appeared in public, yet held the power of life and death over everyone. The Liu family was completely ruined. While Ruyan was carrying dishes at a restaurant, she saw the news about the Gu Group on television. She remembered what I said when I left, then suddenly crouched down and sobbed her heart out. But there is no cure for regret. At the villa in Yunding, Shanzhuang, I took off the delivery uniform I had worn for so long and changed into a tailored custom suit. The man in the mirror still had Li Chuan's youthful features, but his presence had returned to that decisive, ruthless Li Chuan. Gu Qinghan stood behind me, watching me in silence. Her eyes were full of complicated emotions. There was shock, realization, and relief, as well as a trace of feelings she could not name. So it was all fake. From that cup of milk tea onward, it was all an act. That day, I did not choose you. You chose me. Her voice was slightly hoarse. I turned and walked over to her. Only the two of us were in the vast villa. I gently held her. Her body was rigid, but she did not push me away. I whispered in her ear, "The act was fake, but I have realized that wanting to protect you is real, and you were wrong about one thing." Her body trembled slightly. What? I released her, and from my pocket, took out a new lab report. It bore Gu Qinghan's name and the words, "early pregnancy." I watched her pupils shrink instantly, the smile on my lips deepening. "When did this happen?" Her voice held real panic for the first time. I leaned close to her ear. My voice was low and tender, with a possessive authority that allowed no refusal. "You said I had to be the father of your child. Now, let us turn that lie into reality. After all, my child only